Hello. This is attempt 7 of getting a score of 40 on Puzzle Rush with 0 mistakes. You can write all this stuff down and use it to help you always solve the puzzles, but really what we're going to do is just get the most out of solving the puzzles and use it to increase our rating by improving our calculation abilities. It's the most important. And also tactical vision, of course. So let's follow these rules here. Let's get started. I'm going to explain every single move. So, like this. You just calculate that. So it's forcing moves, checks, captures, threats. That's how you solve most of the easy puzzles. So look for checks first, and then captures and threats because it's the most forcing. Forces the opponent to react. Mate in one. Mate in one because this diagonal's covered, and then this diagonal's covered. The bishop was there, was covered it. Should have pointed that out a little bit better. But that's a pretty easy one though. So knight covers the square. Queen can go there, mate in one. Because king can't take, because then it would be putting itself in check. Because the knight can take. Yep. I think that's basically. I don't want to be too basic, too simple, but should be for everybody. So yeah, knight covers this. King is forced to go down because if they go up, then queen takes this pawn. Check is mate. So here, then queen captures it anyways, and it's mate because this knight's defended by the bishop. This whole file is going to be in check by the queen, so mate 2. The first check I see. Okay, so we can see that. Okay, queen here. Queen here. Is this a tough one? Am I just bad? Why don't we just take that? We know that's going to be mate. Queen check. The only thing is they have this square to go to. Otherwise, this is covered by the knight and the queen. And this is check, so king's forced to go here. The knight covers the square. Right here, this g7 square, so that's mate. But let's just look at it slowly. So, we're going to consider every legal move if we need to, but we're going to calculate as much as we can for now. So, after queen takes this, king so after we play, queen captures g5, check. Maybe is a better way of saying what I was trying to say. Then the king goes to f7. If we were to go here, that would happen. We already looked at that kind of, but there's no other checks, are there? No, rook takes, but then pawn forward, defended by rook. Then king here. I don't know about this. Then push the pawn again. That'll be a powerful pawn. We know this is definitely the right answers because there's nothing better. I mean, maybe you could say that might be good. I don't think so. Doesn't feel right. So we're not going to be able to. Oh, look at this. This pawn right here covers this square. That shouldn't have been that hard. So queen takes f5 check. King takes g5 check. King f7. Queen f6 check. Defended by this pawn here. King is here. So this is forced. And then I guess queen takes rook check. Defended by the knight. King goes here, is forced. And queen here, defended by the pawn again. King here is forced. Then what? Like knight here, check. Okay, I don't see the exact mate yet, but it's too bad. Did as much as we could. You don't want to take too long. So note the king covers the escape squares. No, a lot of times you want to know all the escape squares the king has because that will tell you how to get checkmate, right? All we need is a check, and we can't do it with the knight because the pawn would take. So we rook here would be check. Nothing can block. That's also mate. so ladder mate. If you did that, to move the rooks back and forth, maybe we even lose our advantage. But if you do the one correct move here, then both of these files will be covered by our rooks. Nothing can block, nothing can take. It's mate in one. Kind of ladder mate idea. Let's look at this check. Pawn takes. Nope, we don't have a follow-up. That could be mates. See, interesting mate there. Except, I guess king could go up instead of blocking with knight. Maybe this is what we want to try to do. Force it. I think either this move or this move. Probably the second. Rook f8 makes more sense. Seems. There's no way I'm getting this wrong. It's only level 10 or level 9. Or this will be level 10 after I complete it, yeah. I guess we gotta go through every move. Probably too early to use imbalances. That's like positional types of positions where only positional play works, no tactics. Just improving moves. But here I'm sure we've got something. So checks capture studs. We don't think these checks work. No. So checks captures. So captures are next. We looked at that. Can't capture anything. I just see it now. Okay. So once we move this knight, it is the check that puts our rook in the line of sight with the queen. So after pawn takes, rook takes queen. Not too bad. Just gotta be paying attention. So check here. These are covered by the rook. I mean the knight. Note those are covered by the knight. So bishop here is mate. Because nothing can block this square. King can't move. It's in check. It's mate. It's covered by a bishop. Covered by a knight. I think actually this might be the move. No. Yeah, because if we move the rook, then this knight is hanging. So if we go here, then it appears, yeah. This would be the only move. And then bishop check. Yep. That's mate. Also gonna be the thumbnail. Just gotta, like I said, you gotta take note of the squares that the king can go to, and the ones they can't go to, and that makes it a lot easier to find mate. Oh, okay, but fortunately, it doesn't matter that we didn't anticipate this because the knight is there to defend that square, so king can't take. Mate still works. There's only like one good move usually, so you don't even need to calculate most of the time. See, this is good because it attacks the knight and it threatens rook to e1 check, winning the queen. I don't know, I could also try to go here, have this defend that pawn, threaten queen takes, but bishop can take. This just doesn't seem forcing enough, but it should be correct. I mean, I guess if they move the knight, then we take the queen. So we're going to win their knight probably, right? Because pawn takes, pawn attacks the knight. If they move, then rook here. If they waste that move moving the knight, then rook here, rook to e1, check, king moves, rook takes queen. So yeah, let's go for it. Yep. Let's take the knight. Mate in 3 back rank. So first we go here to force the king to go to the corner. Then we sacrifice queen. Rook takes, then our other rook recaptures. Or other piece, not other rook. Mate in 1. The thing defends the square, and when the queen is on the square, it covers this getaway square and also covers this rank. Mate in 1. Nothing else sees that square except the king, but it's defended by the rook. Note that the rook sees that square, so queen can go there. King can't take. Okay, so after this, then this is forced. Then I don't know here. But let's note that forks the king and the queen, right? When the knight is there, that means the rook will take, and then that means our rook can take that rook because that rook is no longer there on the same rank defending it. So that would be mate. So they're gonna probably lose their queen somehow in the fork. No, they want mate instead. Okay, so these are covered, so we can't go here because then king escapes. We can't just take this knight, fortunately. I mean rook, take the rook. It's the bishop. So this is a nice pattern here. Knight covers this pawn, so queen can take, king can't. This is a mate in 3, very common pattern we see a lot in puzzles. So king moves, then knight check, then king moves again because this rank is covered by the queen. And then now that the knight is here, it covers this square, so queen can go there, take that pawn and mate because king can't take again because it'd be putting itself in check because the knight. So it's amazing. 1, 2, and 3. If we do that, it is a fork. It does also give us just a queen because the king can't even approach the square because they're bishop. So if this, yeah, we're just gonna be winning no matter what. So that does work. Okay. There's a fork here, but is there anything better? No. Nope. I don't think so. It's a very odd puzzle again. Oh, that's the problem. Is that where the queen is forking our knight and our king. So you don't have to do it for the earlier easy puzzles, but like for the harder tactics, and especially when you're playing a game and you're trying to use puzzles to practice for like actual game and decision making, you always want to recognize your opponent's moves. Consider those first. First, you do the look at the imbalances of the position, and then consider each side's plans, and then you want to consider like what your opponent's last move threatens. So I know we could block the check with our knight, but then this pawn here will just take it. Okay, actually, yeah, we're not losing the knight because it's defended by this pawn. So we could just probably best to defend our king with the bishop because it threatens to take the queen, so the queen will have to move. Beautiful. Now we fork. So this is the first check I see. And these will be covered. So the king's got 3 possible options. I guess we have to look at all those. They could just move back. Then maybe we move this pawn forward. Then we threaten to go queen here, check. But not really accomplishing much. Stay here. Probably gonna win this rook somehow. Because if we go queen here, no, this queen is also on this diagonal. Whoops. Wait, why is the queen just hanging? I finally realized it. So how long did it take me to time me? It's like 20 seconds or something. It's not the obvious. You don't expect that move, so you're not looking for that type of pattern. You're looking for other patterns. So no, bishop is attacking our queen. We've got a queen here defended by a knight. We've got this option, but then queen takes. We need to develop our bishop into the game and this bishop as well. No, it's, I don't know. If we did this, they're going to take the queen, but knight takes. But the point of moving the bishop is that the rook and the queen are connected. It's a battery on this file. But also this pawn is defended by the bishop, so that's not accomplishing much. But I did see another move. How about this? Because it's better than this, because queen defends the square, so queen can't take. I don't know, something like this. Can't really do that, but so now what are we looking at? Kings again is four options. How do we get rid of this problem with this bishop? We go here. I don't see the point in that. Just take this. Ah, there. Take the, just like the last puzzle, right? Take the queen, knight recaptures, and then knight forks the king and the rook. Has to be it, because we're just, our queen, you have to move our queen, it's under attack by the bishop. You know, I could have spent a little more time looking at other possible candidate moves and calculating, but, you know, we just use principles, general principles, in the process of elimination, for these, especially for the first, like, easy 24, 30 puzzles. Rook. This is mate, I think. So rook captures d8 check, rook captures d8 check, rook e8 check, rook captures e8, queen captures e8 check, rook f8, and then queen captures f8 check. Might look like a lot, but you just want to, it's just back rank mate. You want to first take off that rook, then you want to bring this rook, trade it off, then queen will be on the back rank, bishop blocks, take the queen, take the bishop with the queen. Okay. I think these are the same as those last two puzzles we saw. So queen takes queen, king must recapture, and then we got this fork. Knight forks king and rook. So I want to play this, but then this. No, that doesn't. How do we? So they're threatening to take this, but we have a knight that's defending, so actually we probably can't really move that knight. Even though probably not really mates. They're just gonna force us to move the king back and forth. Probably like some kind of perpetual check, draw. This is too slow though, right? This is like too fast because king just attacks the rook. We could be threatening to go here, but then this, I got that, and then move fork. Okay. Good pattern there. I saw that pretty quickly. Proud of that. There's only like 6 different forking patterns with the knight, so I'm definitely going to be making a video about that soon. This visualization. So we gotta move somewhere, right? I mean, this is not bad because they can't do really anything. They can't do that, so I suppose maybe this is their best move. Just win the pawn, attack a queen, king. I mean, but we'll have to go there, then we've got time to do this. Yeah, this has to be good, I think. Nope. So immediately just see what we did there. What could have been better? Of course, it's a pawn move. I was just seeing ghosts. I should have calculated more that pawn move, but because I mean they can't do anything really. Because yeah, it's defended by. I get the queen there. The pawn is defended by the rook and it's unstoppable, so we should have just pushed it. What I had wasn't as good, but it probably might have. I guess maybe not because it's a puzzle. But I'd like to think maybe it would still work out somewhat. At least a draw. Okay, so I was going here. Yeah, it's a draw. Maybe slightly better. So I want to go here. Knight f5. That's what I predicted. But yeah, that's not bad. Then I win the rook, no? Why is it saying knight f5? Oh. Here is different because then it defends this square. So that's the move I missed, I suppose. This refutes my idea. Not too hard to see that, honestly. Definitely, I'm really good with pawns, so should have known. Push the pawn. Looks like to be mating. Not quite yet. How about just here? This is good. This is another like slow move. It's kind of hard to see sometimes. Because yeah, that's forcing. It's threatening mate. This is threatening to go queen here. Then this square is covered by this pawn. Because pawns take diagonally, so the king can't move there. So what they have to do to defend is go here. But then queen goes here, defended by the pawn here, right? Queen goes to a2 check. Then king goes back to where it came from. We got queen a1 checkmate. No, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. I got 2 in a row wrong. What could be better? Is it my first original idea? And then something like what? I don't see it. I don't get it. Oh, I see it now. If I would have looked a couple moves further. See, I'm not following my own rules because I'm just trying to get the puzzle rush. I'm trying to make sure the video's only like 30 minutes, 20 minutes long, not like 50 minutes. I see the pattern now, so get some partial credit. This is covered by the queen. If we push the pawn, sacrifice it to b3, king's forced to take, right? Because this is covered. Then we got this pawn here that covers this square. So queen here is mate because the king's here. These are the 2 escape squares that are blocked by their own pieces. And these are all the squares that are covered by a queen. So that's also not a very difficult puzzle. Just takes some discipline to be good at puzzles. So now we've got to get like 14 right in a row. Without making a mistake to get to 40. Last time we got like to 35, 36, but we made mistakes. So this is forced for the king to take if we sack the rook, because this is covered by the queen. And we're gonna go here, and then bring the bishop back, so that works. Rook takes, king takes. Rook captures h7 check. Maybe we should be more strict. King captures h7. Queen h5 check. King b8. Bishop c5. d5 check. King back to h8. And then that's actually just me. I got confused because I was saying so much, but this is the move right here. No. This king recaptures, queen check, king moves, bishop moves here. I suppose actually rook can block, but then the queen can actually take the rook because the queen will be on this square. Yeah, just like I said, nice. Oh, and then I guess we do have actually a mate. I should have calculated one move further again. That would have been better. Next time we do a puzzle rush, it's actually going to be long, I suppose. Need to actually follow the rules and just... I could get everything right if I just took the time. We've got a check here. Push these pawns. I don't know why we want to push that one. I mean, I suppose rook can't block both of them. There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. I don't see anything wrong with this. Because that works, right? If the rook blocks this, well, okay, they don't have to take it. So king forward, pawn forward, king, some random move somewhere. And if we promote this pawn, then rook has to take. Then we go rook here, defended by the pawn. So either rook takes and pawn takes and promotes, or we push the pawn forward. So that does work, but why does this not work? That's why, because so here, here, here. I don't know what's the point. Go here, maybe there. Okay, I was right. I thought that was just luck. No, I calculated because this and this and let's go back here because this would be covered by the pawn. And then I'd go here. I can't go here now because I take this. And I take this pawn. So first we go here. That's exactly what I suggested. That's funny. So yeah, I successfully calculated that this puzzle. It's a bold thing to say. I could get it wrong now. Yep. Alrighty. So okay, now we can just afford to do this because if rook takes pawn and this, then they've got to check. Then we're just screwed, I guess. All these checks and the pawn. So that's what I've got to realize, that if I would have allowed the rook to get over here and mess with this pawn, it would have opened up this file. So that's why you have to know this is correct. Then rook takes pawn, pawn promotes to queen. Then if they want to give checks or anything, like we could even just sacrifice stuff, maybe. Yes. Assume go up. You want to go down? Yeah. Okay. Wasn't very hard. So let's just review 3 puzzles I got wrong. I actually have a Lichess study of all the mistakes I make when I do Puzzle Rush, so I recommend you guys do that too, just to do spaced repetition. Try to recognize this if there's like common mistakes in your reasoning when you solve puzzles. So let's remember this one. It was pawn move because my idea here didn't work to knight f5 covers this e7 square. So after this, we just keep pushing and they can't stop it. They move the rook instead, but that's defended by the knight, so that doesn't do much. Okay. So here we had, I was trying to do this, be a little fancy. Because there must be some refutation somewhere. Queen could sacrifice itself and it's not mate anymore. Maybe that's it. But this just works. Queen here, king down, sacrifice pawn, lure the king out. It's like a traction tactic, they call it. And queen here defended by this, mate. And for this one, it's very simple. Well, there we go. We got to 27. Hopefully we still learned how to do puzzles and you learned some tactics there you haven't seen before maybe, or just some difficult ones. They're good practice. So consider subscribing. I'm making this a consistent habit of watching Puzzle Rush and watching my rapid games and start learning from it and improving your rating. But thanks for watching.